Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Elizibar. We're doing something a little bit different here in our comic book review. So we got the book right over there. You can see it. Well, I guess first you see like all the books in my closet, but beyond that, boom, you can see the cover of this book, Deal Breaker. Marcel Dupre sent me this, and he's like, "Hey, you want to check this out? Give it a read, maybe do a review." And I'm like, "Sure." Like I ever turned down like free stuff, right? Who does? Who turns down free stuff? I don't know. So anyway, we're doing something a little different because I'm on camera during a review. Usually you just see the hands, you just see the hands when I'm showing like a physical comic book. This is digital. There's no physical. I'm trying to spice it up a little bit for you. So this is Deal Breaker #1. That's important. That means it's the first issue. You can see the credits down here. And we're going to zoom in because I want to talk about my first impression of the book. And my first impression was when he sent this to me, I skimmed over it real quick and I'm like, oh, this looks totally different. This looks like a film noir. That's what it kind of reminded me of. And if you look at the cover here, you can kind of see like that's the first impression that I think pretty much anybody's going to be getting. There's a lot of strong use of light and shadow. And you only see that in a couple genres of filmmaking. Um, One would be like German expressionistic films, but those have other hallmarks like really wonky lines and stuff like that. And then also in noir, or any kind of gritty film really, but noir kind of specializes in that. Maybe some grindhouse movies, but no, my first impression was noir. Let's zoom in just a little bit more here. Let's see, I think I wanted to jump to page 3 first. Yeah, here we go. Can we do one more? Ooh, no, that's a little too far. All right, so we'll just go here. And we get introduced to our main character. That would be the schlubby looking gentleman right here. Now, him and his buddy are working as security guards. Man, Jerry, you look so miserable. You're actually giving me depression. I was just thinking. I need a cigarette. Come on, let's go do our rounds. What are you moping about anyway? Nothing. I was watching these kids get out of school and his coworker is completely inappropriate. Like, look at that. That's like a 10-year-old, dude. Come on. Come on. Inappropriate. Don't even do that. That's not what I'm talking about. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for bringing us back, getting us going here. Look at this dude. I'm 25 years old, and what have I done with my life? Dude, you're 25. You're not expected to have done anything with your life by that age. Like, at least you're not sitting around in a Superman t-shirt talking about comic books on YouTube. You've got that going for you. I see people I went to school with. They've got great jobs, families. What do I have? Nobody and a crap job. So they're walking around. They come to a fountain. And dude steals some change and he gives the guy a quarter. He leaves, he comes back, and then here's the moment. The dream life. I'd give anything for the dream life. Now there's a couple ways the story could have went from here. If we were going to strictly go like noir, this is the part where he becomes a criminal and he starts shooting people or scheming or something. And then we would probably be going down like the path of like Ed Brubaker's criminal stuff or Rebirth of the Gangster by local writer C.J. Standel here in my town. But that's not where we go. Instead, we go to like a monkey paws kind of place. Now, I'm not quite sure just how supernatural the goings on are from this point. They could be pretty natural, but they're probably not. So let's go check out this dude's life, all right? Emily's on the phone. So he comes home, beautiful wife. He's not the schlub anymore. He's clean shaven. Maybe lost a little weight. Like, he's looking pretty good. Got a nice head of hair. Got a nice daughter. She doesn't want to talk to him. Pretty typical daughter territory. He's got a son who's setting up a ninja, like American Ninja Warrior course in the living room. Go for it, kid. You could be the next guy. So he's got a pretty good life. So he's made that wish. We're like 15, 20 years in the future. He's like 40. And this is where he's at. Cool, right? Like, how you gonna diss it, man? Guy's got a good job. He's got a nice looking family. Like, he's made it. He is there. And then he has a bad dream. and he sees this dude. And when I had the view more zoomed out, let me. Oh, here we go. I guess it was this panel I was thinking of. This dude's eyes are like freaky red. Now, that could just be the dream, right? It could be the dream. He could just have bloodshot eyes, but he's having a bad dream. What would you do to keep the life you have? Whatever had to be done. Never ever answer things like that, bro. That's what I wanted to hear. Then he wakes up freaking out because let's be honest, like dude's like losing his family, see his wife is like fading out back here. This is not a happy dream. So this is where the monkey's paw aspect of the story kind of takes hold. And so there's like two ways this can go. This dude could either be like an evil genie, you know, I'm not sure what he is, or it could be like an Illuminati conspiracy. So that's another influence I kind of see coming into this. You know, we've already like name dropped Ed Brubaker's criminal stuff. Fantastic books, by the way. But this dude here, he starts sending the guy text messages. Let's see, I think I got page 13 written down to go to next. Oh, this is where things start falling apart. This isn't where he's got his cell phone. Oh, here it is. So he starts getting messages on his cell phone. And we see what the messages tell him to do later. I'm not going to tell you what it is. But this part reminds me of a comic that came out. I guess it was a graphic novel that came out a couple years ago. It was on Kickstarter, I think it was called Liar by Jeremy Kaufman. I hope I got that right. And the story there is this dude, his dad like dies or kills himself or something, and so he has to take up the family mantle of being like the pawn of the Illuminati or whatever. And so he has to tell tons of lies every day, just to keep his life from falling apart. And he gets messages that say, "Hey, go do this thing at this place." And if he doesn't do it, bad things happen. Like, oh, we're gonna go bang and kill your mom. Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to be involved with that kind of stuff. So this guy is getting those kind of messages on his cell phone now. We can see he comes in. This dude here, a deal's a deal, but nothing is real. Say goodbye. It's all a lie. Kind of telling us something funny's going on. And our main character here, Jerry, his life, from this moment on, from when he deleted that message, starts to go sideways. And here he is, like, in the office, and he's not backing up his old co-worker friend. No, not really. He's worked here for a while, though, I believe. I pass by him every day. Man, that's cold. That is cold, bro. One thing I gotta say, I like the art and the muted colors. I made the comparison with, wow, just whacked the microphone. I made the comparison to like the criminal books, Ed Brubaker, and who does the art for those? Sean Phillips, is that right? The art kind of fills in a similar vein. The colors are kind of muted. The world is drab and dull. Even good things don't look that good in this setup. And I kind of like that. I think it might be interesting to have seen this in just the line art. Because I know from reading Rebirth of the Gangster that these kind of crime stories look really good in gray tone. So that might have been kind of cool. You had the black lines, the white space, some grayscale shading, maybe Zipatone or something like that, because there's like a million products like Zipatone, like something like that applied over top of stuff. Could have been cool. Might be worth thinking about. I don't know. My main complaint about this book is that it's just the setup. This isn't the meat of the story. This is the first issue. And a story like this, boy, it's like reading those Ed Brubaker criminal books when they were coming out on a monthly basis like 2 years ago, where it's kind of like I read it and I'm ready for the next one. And there is no next one. And that's a tough place to be when you're reading a story. Also, sometimes the art's a little inconsistent. Like, this is a great example of it. This dude looks a lot older on the right here than he does on the left. And that may be intentional, because this may be like the weight of what he did hitting him right here. How he just ignored his friend and he's like feeling guilt. So that may be like what's going on here. But here he looks like a much younger person. The cheekbones, like his cheeks haven't sunk quite so much between these two, like over here versus here. The lines on his forehead seem way more severe here than they do over here. His haircut actually looks younger over here. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. He looks like he's aged maybe like 10 years between these two panels. It's kind of weird. But otherwise, like, I had a great time reading this. The writing actually was really nice. The pace of the book flowed really well. I got on that page 3 and I was like, I don't know if I want to keep reading this. I don't like where this is going here from this panel. And then this dude like keeps talking like that on the next page, and it was really kind of off-putting. But that's not what the book was about. So the book just moved on from that, and we're just kind of like showing that Mr. Schlubby, Mr. Jerry here, is getting away from that kind of stuff and into a better life. So from that perspective, I kind of like the way that worked out. It was pretty nice. Also, can I just say, this little kid's got like this awesome, cute smile over here. Like, this dude is being a perv, but this kid, like, she's pretty happy looking, and smiles are infectious. You know what I mean? Uh, so I definitely like that. The facial expressions in general are pretty nice. Like, these may not be the most detailed looking faces, and some of that may be. I see that this is like in the file name like 150 DPI review copies, so maybe the final art will be a little bit different than people who get these for real, because you should definitely have a little more detail and a higher DPI than this. But yeah, I like the way the facial expressions turned out on most of these people. Like, you can kind of see it. Like, this dude's like flat. You know, he's like a soda that got popped and has been sitting on the counter for like 2 days and is completely flat. That's this dude's life. Watch his face in all these. Even when he's complaining here, he can't get out of being flat. It was too cool. It was too cool. Very expressive. I liked it. Cool book. Uh, Check it out. I don't know when the campaign or anything like that's going to be happening, but you should definitely check it out. It is like Ed Brubaker's Criminal meets Liar, and that ain't bad. See you next time. Bye bye.